I'm stuck here, and it's all thanks to the little girl under the bed. Since moving out of my parents' home, I've lived alone, accustomed to solitude. So you can understand my surprise when I heard something running in my room. I looked around confused at first, but soon something strange happened that woke a slight panic inside of me. It sounded like a little girl singing, and to my utmost horror, it seemed to come from beneath me, underneath the bed. I forced myself to look around to make sure, but the only sign of life was my dog, Kojak, sleeping at the foot of my bed. The air grew thick with dread as the singing stopped, leaving an agonizing silence in its wake. After what felt like hours, the voice spoke again, this time in a soft, playful tone. "Hiya, my name is Annie. What's yours?" I was too scared to respond or move, hoping she would just disappear. But she persisted. "I know you're awake. I just want to know your name." Kojak stirred briefly, then settled back down, oblivious. How did she know I was awake? It felt as though she could peer into my thoughts, twisting them, playing with them. Ignoring her felt wrong, like defying some unspoken rule. When I didn't respond, her voice deepened into a growl, laced with menace. "Tell me your name." Barely above a whisper, I finally replied, "Angeline." Silence fell again, stretching the moment into infinity. Then she spoke once more, her voice that of a little girl again. "Pardon me, but do you have anything to eat?" Panic surged through me as I remembered what happened the last time she grew angry. I told her she could eat whatever she wanted. This was my second mistake. In an instant, Kojak was yanked under the bed, his startled yelp cut short by the sickening sound of bones snapping and flesh tearing. "Thanks, Angeline," she said, her voice dripping with satisfaction as she began to hum again. The sound was hauntingly familiar, pulling me deeper into the nightmare. My mind raced, trying to grasp onto reality. I knew I had to end this. The door was slightly ajar. She must have come through there. In the next room was a shotgun. I bolted, heart pounding, expecting her to be right behind me, but she wasn't. I seized the gun and turned, only to find her standing there, her pale face twisted into a smile, her eyes dark and empty. I raised the shotgun, ready to fire, but my body refused to move, paralyzed by some unseen force. She laughed, her voice once again that of a man, and said the words that would haunt me forever. "They will never believe you." Her words echoed in my mind, sending me spiraling. My finger moved against my will, pulling the trigger, and her head exploded into pieces. Minutes later, the police arrived. Sprawled out before me was my daughter, and my face was smeared with blood and dog fur. I was alone, ranting about a demon named Annie and a nightmare that felt all too real. As they led me away, a detective asked, "Why did you do it?" I started to protest, then caught sight of myself in the hallway mirror. My eyes were wide, pupils blown out, sweat beading on my forehead. I was sobered up, and a memory of mushrooms soon came back to me. "They'll never believe me," I whispered to myself, echoing her words as they took me away.